Welcome to the world of science fiction, where extraordinary tales and boundless imagination come to life. Enjoy the journey. The emergency alert pierced through Alexa's meditation, its harsh tone shattering her peaceful state. Her violet skin gleamed in the artificial dawn of her Neo-Tokyo penthouse as she opened her eyes, irritation flickering across her perfect features. "Accept call," she commanded, her voice carrying a hint of an exotic accent. The holographic display materialized, revealing Director Randy's stern face. His cybernetic eye whirred as it focused on her. "Hunter Barpoli, we have a situation at Echo 7, Priority Alpha." Alexa's enhanced senses detected the subtle stress patterns in his voice. "I'm listening. An entire research team is dead. The perpetrator stole classified data regarding Protocol Omega, your target." A three-dimensional image appeared beside Randy's face, a tall, muscular man with intense eyes and a scar running along his jaw. Wade Princeton, former military, extremely dangerous. Something about those eyes made Alexa's breath catch, but her neural implant immediately suppressed the response. Strange. "Transmission received. Payment terms? Double your usual rate, but time is critical. The station's automated systems are already compromising evidence." Alexa stood, her sleek hunting suit materializing around her body as nanobots assembled the armor. "I'll need full access codes." "Uploading now," and Alexa, Randy's organic eye narrowed. He must be taken alive. The call ended, leaving Alexa alone with the rotating image of her target. She studied his features, trying to understand the odd sensation in her chest. Her neural implant registered elevated hormone levels and automatically adjusted her biochemistry. Within minutes, her personal shuttle broke through Neo-Tokyo's glittering skyline. As the autopilot set course for Echo 7, Alexa reviewed the station's schematics. The research facility hung in low Earth orbit like a massive metal spider, its solar arrays stretching out into space. Her tactical HUD highlighted potential entry points and security measures. But something else caught her attention: fragments of corrupted data in the station's logs. Someone had tried to erase more than just research data. The shuttle's comm crackled. "Hunter Barpoli, you are cleared for docking Bay 3. Be advised, life support is minimal in sections 7 through 12. Alexa's hand instinctively checked her energy spear, her signature weapon. The crystalline tip hummed with contained power capable of disrupting both electronic and neural systems. As the shuttle executed its docking sequence, Alexa activated her suit's active camouflage. Her violet skin and curves seemed to melt into the shadows. The hunt was about to begin. The station's air felt thick with death. Bodies of researchers lay scattered through the corridors, their faces frozen in expressions of terror. Alexa's implant analyzed the scene. No signs of physical trauma. Whatever killed them had attacked their nervous systems directly. Her tactical display flashed as it detected recent movement in the botanical research section. A ghost of a heat signature leading deeper into the station's heart. "I see you're leaving breadcrumbs, Mr. Princeton," she whispered, a predatory smile playing across her lips. "Let's see where this trail leads." The botanical section was a maze of overgrown vegetation and malfunctioning environmental controls. Mist clung to the floor as tropical plants reached toward emergency lighting. Alexa moved silently through the artificial jungle, her enhanced senses alert for any disturbance. Her neural implant pinged, elevated adrenaline levels. The thrill of the hunt always affected her this way, but something felt different. Each step deeper into the station intensified a strange sense of familiarity. Movement ahead. A shadow passing through shafts of red emergency lighting. Alexa raised her spear, its crystal tip casting a faint blue glow. You can't hide forever, she called out, her voice echoing through the humid air. Why not make this easier for both of us? A deep chuckle resonated from somewhere to her left. Now where's the fun in that, Hunter? That voice. It sent an unexpected shiver down her spine, one her implant couldn't quite suppress. Fun isn't in my contract, she replied, tracking his position through scattered heat signatures. But I'm curious, what was worth killing an entire research team? I didn't kill them. His voice moved again, now behind her. But you already knew that, didn't you? Your implant can detect lies. Alexa spun, spear ready, but found only empty space. He was good, managing to mask his heat signature. Military training indeed. What I know is that you stole classified data, she said, advancing cautiously. Protocol Omega. Ring any bells? A bitter laugh. Oh, it rings more bells than you remember, Alexa. Her heart skipped. How did he know her name? Before she could process the thought, her implant detected movement above. She rolled forward just as Wade dropped from the ceiling, his own weapon, some kind of modified pulse rifle, tracking her movement. Their eyes met for a split second. Electric blue bore into violet, and something crackled between them that had nothing to do with their weapons. Alexa struck first, her spear arcing toward his shoulder in a disabling blow. Wade parried with his rifle, the clash sending sparks through the misty air. They moved in a deadly dance, each strike and counter revealing years of training. You're holding back, he grunted, blocking another thrust. Neural suppression can't hide that forever. And you're talking too much, she shot back. But he was right. Her usual fluid grace felt constrained, as if her body was fighting against its own muscle memory. Wade pressed his attack, forcing her back toward a wall of twisted vines. Tell me, Hunter, do you ever dream about a garden? Under holographic stars? Images flashed through Alexa's mind, stolen moments, forbidden touches, the taste of first love. Her implant screamed warnings as suppressed memories tried to surface. The distraction cost her. Wade swept her legs, sending her spear clattering across the floor. She rolled to avoid his follow-up strike and launched herself at his midsection. They crashed together through the vines, landing in a tangled heap. Alexa found herself pinned beneath him, their faces inches apart. His weight pressed against her, sending unwanted waves of heat through her body. Her implant went into overdrive, trying to regulate her surging hormones. Get office me. She emphasized each word with a struggle, but Wade held firm. Not until you remember, he growled. They took it from us, Lex. Erased everything we were. I don't know what you're talking about. But even as she said it, cracks appeared in her carefully constructed mental walls. Wade's free hand traced her jawline, the gentle touch at odds with their violent encounter. Your skin, he whispered. Still the same shade of twilight. I used to trace constellations in your freckles. More images flooded her mind. Secret meetings in virtual space, fingers intertwined under tables, whispered promises in darkened corners. Her implant fired emergency protocols, flooding her system with stabilizers. No! Alexa bucked hard, catching Wade off guard. She slammed her forehead into his nose and scrambled away, snatching up her spear. Wade wiped blood from his face, but his eyes held more pain than anger. They really did a number on you, didn't they? On both of us. You're trying to confuse me, she accused, keeping her weapon ready. Playing mind games. Then why is your implant working so hard to keep you controlled? He tapped his own temple. I can see the feedback loop from here. They don't just want the data I stole. They want to make sure we never remember what they did to us. Alexa's tactical display filled with warnings. Her heart rate was dangerously elevated, neural patterns becoming erratic. The implant increased suppressant levels, but the damage was done. What? She stumbled, her vision blurring. "What did you do to me?" Wade caught her as her knees buckled. "I didn't do anything. Your own memories are fighting back." The last thing she saw before darkness claimed her was Wade's face, lined with concern, and something else. Something her failing implant couldn't categorize. Love. Alexa drifted in and out of consciousness, fragments of memory swirling like stardust. A younger Wade, sneaking her notes during neural programming class. Their first kiss behind a malfunctioning holoscreen. Tears and screams as guards dragged them apart. She awoke with a gasp in an unfamiliar room. Industrial metal walls, sparse furniture, the hum of life support systems. Her hunting suit was offline, implant running diagnostic protocols. "Welcome back." Wade sat in a corner, keeping his distance. He'd cleaned up the blood from his nose but hadn't treated his other injuries. "How's the head?" Alexa tried to sit up, fighting a wave of nausea. "What? Where are we?" "Maintenance level of Echo 7, off the main grid." He tossed her a water packet. "Your implant should be back online soon. They built in fail-safes against total shutdown." She caught the packet, studying him warily. "You could have killed me, or left me." "Never." The intensity in his voice made her shiver. "I've spent 10 years trying to find you, Lex, to undo what they did to us." "Stop saying that." She pressed her fingers to her temples. "I would remember." "Would you?" Wade stood, retrieving a data tablet. "They developed Protocol Omega in the orphanage, a way to control emotions, rewrite memories. We were their first successful test subjects." He placed the tablet beside her. The screen showed security footage, teenage versions of themselves in the New Hope orphanage gardens. The audio was scratchy but clear. "We have to tell someone," young Alexa whispered, "what they're doing to the others." "They'll just wipe us again," Wade replied. "But I have a plan. Trust me?" "Always." Alexa's hands trembled as she watched. Her implant was desperately trying to suppress the emotions the footage triggered, but the dam had cracked. "The night they caught us," Wade continued, his voice rough, "we'd discovered their entire program, using orphans as test subjects for emotional control technology. But before we could expose them, they separated us," Alexa finished, the words coming unbidden. "Reprogrammed our memories." She looked up at him, really seeing him for the first time. "You were my first love." Wade knelt before her, close but not touching. "And you were mine. Still are." Her implant screamed warnings, but Alexa ignored them. She reached out, tracing the scar on his jaw. "They gave you this. When you fought back. Worth it." He caught her hand, pressing it to his cheek. "I never forgot you completely. Dreams, fragments, enough to start investigating. Then I found proof of what they'd done. The stolen data." Everything clicked into place. Protocol Omega wasn't just about controlling orphans. It was a test run. Now they're implementing it across society. Subtle emotional control through neural implants, marketed as a stability enhancement. Wade's eyes hardened. They're trying to create a world without real feelings, without love. Alexa's free hand went to her chest, where her heart raced despite her implant's attempts to regulate it. "I should arrest you, complete my mission." "But you won't." He smiled, that same crooked smile she'd fallen for years ago. "Because you feel it too. The truth breaking through their programming." A warning klaxon shattered the moment. Red emergency lights began flashing. "Security breach detected," an automated voice announced. "Containment protocols initiated." Wade cursed, grabbing his rifle. "They've found us. Randy must have tracked your implant's reboot sequence." Alexa retrieved her spear, combat instincts taking over. "There's no way out. This level is sealed." "There's always a way." Wade pulled up a schematic on his tablet. Maintenance shaft leads to a private docking bay, but we'll have to fight through whatever forces Randy sent. Their eyes met, a decade of stolen memories hanging between them. Together, Wade extended his hand. Alexa's implant fired one last warning before she shut it down completely. For the first time in 10 years, she felt everything: fear, anger, hope, and something deeper that had survived all attempts to erase it. She took his hand. Together. The corridor outside erupted with weapons fire as corporate security forces converged on their position. Wade and Alexa moved in perfect sync, as if their bodies remembered a dance their minds had forgotten. Her spear crackled with energy as she disabled 3 guards. Wade's rifle barked, laying down covering fire as they advanced toward the maintenance shaft. "Just like old times," he shouted over the chaos. "We need to talk about your definition of romance," she called back, ducking under a pulse blast. They reached the shaft entrance, but security forces had them pinned down. A grenade rolled toward them, its indicator blinking rapidly. Without hesitation, Wade kicked it away and shielded Alexa with his body. The explosion rocked the corridor, showering them with debris. "Still trying to play hero," she muttered, checking him for injuries. "Only for you." He winced as she found a shrapnel wound. "The data. In my left pocket. Everything about Protocol Omega. If we don't make it." Alexa silenced him with a fierce kiss. 10 years of suppressed passion exploded between them, making her implant spark and die completely. She pulled back, breathless. "We're making it. Both of us. I didn't remember you just to lose you again." More guards approached. Wade readied his rifle while Alexa prepared her spear. "When this is over," she said, violet skin flushing with excitement, "we're going to find a garden with real stars." Wade's answering grin was pure adrenaline and promise. "Lead the way, Hunter." Together they charged into battle, their weapons blazing with lethal grace. They had a future to fight for, one where memories couldn't be erased and love couldn't be controlled. And somewhere in the depths of space, Protocol Omega's days were numbered. The private docking bay erupted in chaos as Wade and Alexa fought their way through the last line of corporate security. Their stolen shuttles screamed to life, engines burning hot as they broke free from Echo 7's dying grasp. "Multiple pursuit vessels detected," the shuttle's AI announced, calculating evasive trajectory. Alexa's fingers danced across the controls, her violet skin reflecting the emergency lighting. "They're using standard pursuit patterns. Too predictable." "That's because they're not trying to catch us," Wade said, examining a data readout. "They're hurting us." He pulled up a tactical display. "Look, they're pushing us toward Lunar Security Zone, where their jurisdiction ends and—" Alexa's eyes widened. "And where Mark Sealer's private security force begins." "Exactly." Wade's face hardened. The man who started it all. The shuttle shuddered as a warning shot passed their bow. Alexa executed a tight barrel roll, using Earth's orbital debris field for cover. "You never told me how you learned about Sealer," she said, threading the needle between 2 defunct satellites. Wade's hand brushed her shoulder, casual contact that sent electricity through her newly freed nervous system. "Because it's not a pretty story. After they separated us, I was transferred to his personal rehabilitation program, the experimental wing." Alexa's grip tightened on the controls. More memories surfaced, whispered rumors about children who never returned from that section. "He used to visit us, watching through one-way glass, as they tested different emotional suppression techniques." Wade's voice turned bitter, always talking about his sister, how her uncontrolled passion led to her death, how he was saving us from the same fate. "I remember him now." Alexa banked hard, losing another pursuit vessel in the debris field. "He would attend the orphanage galas, always so, cold." That's because he was the first test subject of Protocol Omega, volunteered after his sister's death. The prototype chip burned out most of his emotional capacity. Warning klaxons blared. A massive shape emerged from behind Luna's dark side, a sleek black vessel bristling with weapons. "Speaking of the devil," Alexa muttered, "that's Sealer's flagship, the Emotional Equilibrium. Pretentious name. Pretentious man." The ship's communication system crackled. A face appeared on their view screen. Distinguished, aristocratic features frozen in an expression of perpetual calm. "Mr. Princeton, Ms. Barpoli." Mark Sealer's voice carried the same coldness Alexa remembered. "I must commend your escape from Echo 7, though I expected nothing less from two of our most promising subjects." "We're not your subjects anymore," Alexa spat. "No?" Sealer's lips twitched in what might have been amusement. "Then why do I still have access to this?" Pain exploded behind Alexa's eyes as her defunct implant suddenly reactivated. She fought for control as the shuttle began to spin. "Lex!" Wade grabbed the controls, stabilizing their flight path. "Fight it! Remember who you are." "Oh, she remembers now," Sealer said softly. "That's exactly the problem. You see, Protocol Omega wasn't just about controlling emotions. It was about protecting humanity from itself, from the chaos of unchecked feelings." Through the haze of pain, Alexa saw tears on Sealer's face, the first emotion she'd ever seen him display. "My sister thought she was in love," he continued. "Ran away with a man who promised her the stars. Instead, he sold her to organ harvesters. Love, passion, desire, they're all weaknesses to be exploited." "You're wrong," Wade growled. "What you did to us, to all those children, it wasn't protection. It was torture, unnecessary sacrifice." Sealer's eyes hardened. "One I've made myself. The prototype chip may have burned away my ability to feel, but it gave me clarity, purpose. And now?" The Emotional Equilibrium's weapons powered up, targeting arrays locking onto their shuttle. "Now, I'll give you both one chance to surrender. Return to the program voluntarily. Let us fix what's broken." Alexa fought through the implant's resurgent programming, reaching for Wade's hand. The touch of his skin grounded her, helped her push back against the artificial constraints. "The only thing broken," she said through gritted teeth, "is you." She yanked the controls hard, sending them into a dive toward Earth's atmosphere. The Emotional Equilibrium's first volley missed by meters. "You disappoint me," Sailor said. "But then, emotion always leads to poor decisions." "Kira?" A new voice joined the channel, familiar, devastating in its betrayal. "I'm sorry, Wade." Kira Levant's face appeared beside Sealer's. "But he's right. I've seen what unrestricted emotions do to people, the pain they cause." "Kira?" Wade's voice cracked. "You're working with him? I'm helping him save humanity from itself." Tears streamed down Kira's face. "Please, come back. Let us help you both." The shuttle plunged toward Earth's atmosphere, heat shields straining as Alexa pushed the engines beyond safety limits. Behind them, the Emotional Equilibrium's weapons continued their deadly dance. "Kira," Wade tried again, "whatever Sealer told you, he showed me the truth." Kira's voice cracked with emotion. "My parents didn't die in an accident. They killed each other in a crime of passion. Love drove them insane." Alexa's tactical display lit up with new warnings. "Wade, we've got incoming. Lots of incoming." A swarm of combat drones deployed from Sealer's flagship, their sleek forms cutting through space like silver needles. "You can't run forever," Sealer's calm voice stated. "Surrender now, and we'll make the reintegration process painless." Wade's hands flew over the weapons console. "Keep us alive for 2 minutes. I have an idea." 2 minutes? Alexa barrel rolled through the drone formation, scattering them. You always did have terrible timing. You love it. He flashed that roguish grin she'd remembered in her dreams. The shuttle bucked as drone fire peppered their shields. Alexa dove deeper into the atmosphere, using the growing friction to shake their pursuers. Hull integrity at 47%, the AI warned. Wade finished whatever he was doing at his console. Kira, before you help him erase us, look at file TC731 in the data I stole. Look at what really happened to your parents. Silence filled the command channel. Then, what? What is this? Kira's voice shook. Sealer's first experiment with emotional manipulation, Wade explained. He didn't just observe your parents' deaths. He caused them. Lies, Sealer cut in, but his perfect composure slipped. Ms. Levant, remember your training. Control your emotional response. The prototype chip, Alexa realized aloud. He tested it on them first, didn't he? Enough. Sealer's collected facade cracked completely. Drones, maximum firepower. Shoot them down. The swarm converged, but Kira's voice rang out. Belay that order. Security override Levant 09. The drones froze in space. What are you doing? Sailor demanded. What I should have done years ago. Kira's tears had turned to rage. Wade, Alexa, run. I'll handle things here. Kira, Wade started. Go. Before I change my mind. Alexa didn't need to be told twice. She fired the shuttle's emergency boosters, breaking atmosphere as the drones behind them began firing on the emotional equilibrium. This isn't over, Sailor's voice followed them down. Your emotions will betray you, just like they betrayed my sister, just like they betrayed… Wade cut the transmission. For a moment there was only the roar of re-entry and their heavy breathing. Think she'll be okay? Alexa asked softly. Kira's tough? Wade moved behind her chair, his hands massaging her tense shoulders. She always was the best of us at taking care of herself. The shuttle broke through cloud cover, Neo-Tokyo's sprawling towers rising before them. Alexa set course for the underground levels, where corporate sensors couldn't reach. We need somewhere to lay low, she said. Somewhere to plan our next move. I know a place. Wade's hands stilled on her shoulders. But first, he spun her chair around, pulling her up into a kiss that made her forgotten implant short-circuit completely. Alexa melted into him, violet fingers tangling in his hair as a decade of suppressed passion ignited between them. When they finally broke apart, both breathless, Wade pressed his forehead to hers. I've wanted to do that properly since the moment I saw you on Echo 7. Properly? Alexa arched an eyebrow. I seem to recall you did kiss me during our escape. That was tactical. Tactical? She laughed, the sound strange and wonderful in her newly freed emotional state. Is that what we're calling it? His response was cut short by proximity alerts. Corporate security vehicles were converging on their position. Rain check on this discussion? Wade reluctantly released her. Alexa returned to the controls, a dangerous smile playing across her lips. Oh, we're definitely continuing this later. They disappeared into Neo-Tokyo's underbelly, leaving Sealer's perfect world of controlled emotions behind. But as they flew through the neon-lit darkness, both knew this was just the beginning. Somewhere above them, the man who had stolen their childhood was nursing his wounds and plotting revenge. His sister's ghost still haunted him, driving his crusade to save humanity from its own heart. But he hadn't counted on one thing: the power of remembered love, breaking free from artificial constraints. And as Wade and Alexa vanished into the shadows of the megacity, their recovered memories burned brighter than any neural implant could suppress. The real war for humanity's emotional freedom was about to begin. Neo-Tokyo's undercity pulsed with illegal neon and desperate dreams. In a abandoned maintenance hub, Alexa studied holographic schematics of Neurocontrol's headquarters while Wade cleaned his pulse rifle. Security's tripled since Kira's defection, she noted, violet fingers tracing patrol routes. Sealer's paranoid. Good. Wade loaded fresh power cells into his weapon. Paranoid men make mistakes. A encrypted comlink chimed. Kira's face materialized, worn but determined. I've got what you need. Sealer's moving all Protocol Omega subjects to the headquarters containment level. He's planning a mass reintegration in 48 hours. Mass mind wipe? Alexa translated grimly. He's accelerating his timeline. There's more. Kira's image flickered. I found his sister's real records. She didn't die because of unchecked emotions. She discovered his early experiments and threatened to expose him. He tested the first prototype chip on her. Wade's hand stilled on his rifle. He killed his own sister? The chip burned out her brain. After that, he refined the technology, made it more subtle. But his goal was always the same: total emotional control of humanity. Alexa's tactical display highlighted key entry points in the headquarters schematic. We'll need a distraction to breach the perimeter, something big enough to... An explosion rocked their hideout. Emergency barriers slammed down as armed figures rappelled through shattered skylights. Breach team, Sector 7. Corporate security forces poured in, weapons charged. Targets located. Wade dove for cover, rifle spitting plasma bolts. So much for planning. Alexa's spear crackled to life as she engaged the nearest attackers. Her enhanced reflexes let her dance through their formation, disabling 3 before they could adjust. New plan? She called, back to back with Wade as more forces entered. Same as the old plan. He tossed her something, a neural override chip. Just accelerate it. You always did prefer improvising. Alexa caught the chip, understanding flooding through their recovered connection. Kira, you reading this? Already on it. Their friend's image smiled grimly, initiating protocol break. And Alexa? Wade? Give him hell for me. The comlink died as EMP charges detonated around them, frying the security team's systems. In the chaos, Wade and Alexa fought their way to a maintenance shaft. Neurocontrol HQ is 2 levels up, Wade said as they climbed. Kira's distraction should hit in 3-2. The entire Undercity shook as explosions lit up the corporate sector. Emergency sirens wailed as thousands of neural implants simultaneously malfunctioned, releasing their emotional constraints. That's our cue. Alexa's violet skin gleamed with sweat and determination. Ready to crash Sealer's party? Wade's answering grin was pure adrenaline. Been ready for 10 years. Together they emerged into a world of beautiful chaos, racing toward their final confrontation with the man who had tried to erase their hearts. The approach to Neurocontrol's headquarters was a gauntlet of automated defenses and frenzied security forces. The building rose like a chrome dagger against Neo-Tokyo's neon sky, its surface flickering with active countermeasures. Main entrance is suicide, Alexa observed, scanning the perimeter. But the waste processing intake on sub-level 3. Seriously? Wade made a face. Through the garbage? Having second thoughts, hero? Just remembering why I fell for you. Always finding the messiest solution. They slipped through maintenance tunnels, avoiding the chaos above as Kira's virus wreaked havoc on the city's neural network. Screams and laughter echoed from the streets, the sound of raw emotion breaking free after years of suppression. The waste intake was exactly as disgusting as Wade had feared, but it got them past the primary security grid. They emerged on a service level, alarms blaring overhead. Multiple containment breaches detected, an automated voice announced. All security personnel to designated control points. This is not a drill. Kira's virus is spreading, Wade said, checking a data terminal. The implants are failing across the whole sector. Then let's make sure they stay that way. Alexa gestured to a maintenance elevator. Containment levels are 20 floors up. The elevator shaft became their highway, using maintenance robots as cover to avoid detection. As they climbed, the sounds of fighting grew louder. They emerged into chaos. Former orphans, their neural controls suddenly freed, were fighting security forces in the corridors. Years of suppressed rage and pain exploded in visceral combat. This way. Wade led them through the melee, heading for the central control room. Sealer will be coordinating from... A familiar voice cut through the din. "Welcome home, children." Mark Sealer stood in a doorway, immaculate despite the destruction around him. But his eyes blazed with an intensity that cracked his perfect mask. "I knew you'd come," he said softly. "The flaw in the human heart. It always returns to what hurts it most. The only flaw," Alexa leveled her spear, "is thinking emotions can be controlled like machines. Machines are predictable, safe." Sealer's hand drifted to his temple, where the prototype chip gleamed. "My sister taught me that humanity needs protection from its own chaos, even if she had to die to show me the truth." "You killed her," Wade growled. "Your own sister. And then you spent decades torturing children to justify your crime." Something flickered across Sealer's face. Pain? Regret? Madness? "I saved them. Saved all of you from the weakness that destroyed her. That destroys everyone who dares to feel too deeply." He pressed a button on his wrist console. Hidden panels opened in the walls, revealing rows of combat drones. "One last chance," he offered. "Return to the program willingly. Let me save you from yourselves." Alexa and Wade exchanged a look. 10 years of lost memories, of suppressed love, of rage at what had been stolen from them. "Here's our answer," Alexa said, and threw her spear. The corridor erupted in plasma fire as the drones attacked. Wade and Alexa moved in perfect sync, their recovered connection stronger than any artificial restraint. Sealer retreated toward the control room, his drones providing cover. But he had underestimated what his children had become. Wade's rifle cleared a path while Alexa retrieved her spear, its crystal tip humming with gathered energy. They fought their way forward, step by bloody step. "You can't stop progress," Sailor shouted as more security forces joined the battle. "Humanity needs control, structure, protection from its own heart." "Humanity needs freedom," Wade countered, taking down 3 guards with precise shots. "The chance to feel everything, pain and joy, love and loss." "The chance to choose," Alexa added, her spear dancing through drone formations. "Like your sister should have had the chance to choose." They reached the control room doors just as Sealer sealed them. Wade planted charges while Alexa covered their backs. "Remember that time in the orphanage," she said, disabling 2 more guards. "When we short-circuited the emotion suppressors during movie night?" Wade laughed as he worked. The look on the instructor's face when everyone started crying at the sad ending. "Real tears," Alexa smiled. "Real feelings." The charges detonated, blasting open the doors. They entered to find Sealer at the main console, his hands flying over controls. "It's over." Wade aimed his rifle. "Shut down Protocol Omega. Release everyone." "It's never over." Sealer's voice cracked with emotion, real emotion, breaking through his damaged psyche. "Don't you see? The pain never stops, not unless we stop it, control it, break its hold over us." "The pain is part of being human," Alexa said softly. "Just like the joy, the love, the hope. You can't have one without the other." Sealer's fingers hovered over the console. "You're wrong. I found a way. The perfect balance. No more heartbreak, no more loss, no more," his voice caught, "no more little sisters dying because they dared to feel too much. A hidden door slid open behind him, revealing a massive chamber. Rows of stasis pods lined the walls, each containing a sleeping figure. My greatest success stories, Sealer gestured proudly. Minds wiped clean of emotional trauma, ready to be reprogrammed with perfect control. Wade stepped forward, rifle steady. That's not success. That's murder. It's salvation. Sailor slammed his fist on the console. The prototype chip in his temple sparked, sending visible shock waves across his face. I can save them all, save them from what I couldn't. His composure cracked completely. Tears streamed down his face as decades of suppressed grief broke through the chip's control. Mira, he whispered his sister's name. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Alexa moved slowly, spear lowered. It wasn't love that killed your sister, Sealer. It was fear. Your fear. No. He drew a pulse pistol. No, you're trying to confuse me. Like she tried. Like they all try. We're trying to free you, Wade said. Like you should have freed her. Sealer's hand shook. The prototype chip sparked again, burning brighter. I can't feel this. Can't remember. But you do remember, Alexa pressed. Every laugh, every tear, every moment with her. That's why you built all this. Not to save humanity, to punish yourself. Stop it, Sailor fired wildly, missing them both. I won't let you destroy everything I've built. He turned to the console, fingers flying over commands. Warning lights flashed throughout the complex. Emergency protocol initiated, the AI announced. Mass neural rewrite commencing in 60 seconds. No! Wade rushed forward, but Sealer's pistol stopped him. One pulse, the madman warned. That's all it takes to end your little rebellion. Alexa's tactical display analyzed angles, probabilities. No clear shot without risking Wade or the stasis pods. 50 seconds to neural rewrite. Think about Mira, she said desperately. What would she want? More children trapped in emotional prisons? I'm protecting them. But Sealer's voice cracked. Protecting. The prototype chip flared brilliant white. Sealer screamed, clutching his head as years of suppressed emotions flooded back. 40 seconds. Wade dove for the console while Alexa's spear knocked the pistol from Sealer's grip, but the controls were locked. Override codes, Wade shouted. Now! 30 seconds. Sealer laughed, a broken, haunting sound. No codes, no overrides, only truth. The chip in his temple was burning out, taking his mind with it, just like it had done to his sister. 20 seconds. Alexa's spear crackled with gathered energy. One thrust could end this. End him. But she saw the tears on his face, the grief, the love that had twisted into obsession. 10 seconds. Wade. She made her choice. The chip. He understood instantly. His rifle fired as her spear struck, their weapons converging on the prototype chip in perfect sync. 5 seconds. The chip exploded in a shower of sparks. Sealer collapsed as neural feedback cascaded through the building's systems. Emergency protocol aborted, the AI announced. System reset initiated. Around them, stasis pods began opening. Confused faces emerged, years of artificial control dissolving like morning fog. Sealer lay crying on the floor, decades of suppressed emotion pouring out. Mira, what have I done? What have I become? Alexa knelt beside him, violet hands gentle on his shoulder. You became what you feared most, but you can choose to be more. The authorities are on their way, Wade reported, monitoring security channels, along with a lot of very angry former test subjects. Sealer looked up at them, his perfect mask shattered forever. Why? Why didn't you kill me? Because that's what you would have done, Alexa said simply. and we choose to be more than our pain. 1 year later, the garden stretched toward real stars, its paths winding between earth flowers and exotic alien blooms. Children played freely, their laughter unrestricted by neural controls. Alexa stood at a viewing window of the New Hope Rehabilitation Center, watching a group therapy session. Her violet skin glowed in the starlight as Wade's arms encircled her from behind. Sealer's doctors say he's making progress, he murmured. Actually felt genuine joy yesterday. Small steps. She leaned back against him. That's all any of us can take. In the garden below, former test subjects learned to embrace their emotions again. To love, to grieve, to hope, to be human in all its beautiful chaos. Think we made the right choice? Wade asked, giving him a chance at redemption. Alexa turned in his arms, violet fingers tracing the scar on his jaw. We chose love over fear, just like we did 10 years ago. Their kiss was sweet and fierce and completely unrestricted. Above them, real stars twinkled in an endless sky, witnessing the triumph of genuine feeling over artificial control. And somewhere, perhaps, Mira smiled. 5 years after the fall of Protocol Omega, the New Hope Rehabilitation Center had become a beacon of healing across the galaxy. Its crystalline towers rose from carefully tended gardens where real flowers bloomed alongside holographic memory markers, each one representing a recovered story, a restored heart. Alexa stood in her office, violet skin catching the sunset as she reviewed the latest patient statistics. The numbers told a story of triumph. 97% of former Protocol Omega subjects had successfully reintegrated into society, learning to embrace their emotions rather than fear them. A knock at her door pulled her attention. Wade entered, looking more relaxed than she'd ever seen him in their shared past. The years had been kind to them both. "Guess who just graduated from the program?" he asked, grinning. Kira finally convinced him? Took her 5 years, but yes, Mark Sealer completed his final therapy session today. Alexa set down her tablet. How is he? Different. Human. Wade moved to join her at the window. He asked to visit Mira's memorial garden, wanted to tell her everything he never could before. Through the glass they could see the figure of their former enemy, now their most challenging success, kneeling before a holographic cherry tree. Kira stood beside him, her hand supportive on his shoulder. The nightmares? Alexa asked softly. Less frequent. The new therapeutic implants help him process trauma without suppressing emotion. His words, I feel the pain, but now I understand it's part of healing. They watched as Sealer placed something at the base of the tree, an old-fashioned paper notebook, Mira's diary, recovered from the neurocontrol archives. The corporate trials are finally over, Alexa noted. Last of the Protocol Omega architects sentenced yesterday. The technology has been permanently banned, except for the modified version we developed. Wade pulled her closer. The one that helps instead of controls. She smiled at that. Their greatest achievement, transforming tools of oppression into instruments of healing. The new therapeutic implants help people process trauma and manage mental health while preserving the full spectrum of human emotion. Speaking of achievements, Alexa turned to her desk, retrieving a small hollow device. The first batch of New Hope's children are ready for adoption. Real families this time. No neural tampering, no emotional suppression. The device projected images of laughing children, orphans like they had been, but with a crucial difference. These kids would grow up free to feel, to love, to become fully themselves. Wade's eyes softened. You know, we never did talk about starting our own family? Alexa's violet fingers intertwined with his. I thought we already had. She gestured to the center around them, to the gardens where former victims had become healers, where broken hearts learned to beat freely again. But, she added with a playful smile, I wouldn't mind expanding it. Their kiss was interrupted by another knock. A young girl stood in the doorway, violet skin like Alexa's, fierce eyes like Wade's. Their first adopted daughter, Sarah, rescued from the last Protocol Omega facility they'd shut down. Mom, Dad, she announced with teenage dramatics. Grandpa Mark is crying in the garden again, but he says they're happy tears this time. Is that okay? Wade laughed. That's more than okay, kiddo. That's perfect. Sarah rolled her eyes but smiled. You guys are so emotional sometimes. I'm glad. She darted forward to hug them both before running back to her friends. Through the window, they watched her join a group of other children, human, alien, and everything in between, all playing, feeling, living without restraint. You know what today is? Wade asked softly. 5 years since we first broke free. Alexa touched her temple where her control implant had once been. Feels like another lifetime. It was. He led her toward the door. Come on. Kira's organizing a surprise party in the main hall. Apparently, half our graduates returned for the anniversary. Not much of a surprise if you tell me. Please. You'd have figured it out anyway. You always were the better hunter. They walked through their sanctuary of second chances, passing walls covered in artwork created by healing hands. Each piece told a story of recovery, of emotions rediscovered. In the main hall, hundreds of familiar faces waited to celebrate. Former victims turned survivors, broken souls made whole. Even Sealer stood among them, tear-stained but smiling, Mira's diary clutched to his chest like a shield turned into a badge of honor. Alexa surveyed their unlikely family, built not from blood, but from shared healing, from the courage to feel everything life offered. Her violet skin glowed with pride and joy as she raised a glass. To freedom, she declared. To love, Wade added. To feeling it all, their assembled family chorused. Above them, through the transparent dome, real stars twinkled in an endless sky. No more artificial constraints, no more suppressed hearts, just the beautiful chaos of genuine emotion and the strength to embrace every moment of it. In the end, that was the greatest victory of all. Dear listener, in a world where we increasingly rely on technology to filter our experiences and moderate our emotions, I hope this story reminds you of something essential. Our feelings, in all their beautiful chaos, are what make us human. Like Wade and Alexa, we all face choices between control and freedom, between safety and authenticity. Sometimes the bravest thing we can do is simply allow ourselves to feel. Whether you're listening this in the neon-lit shadows of your own Neo-Tokyo or under real stars somewhere far from the city's pulse, remember, your emotions are not flaws to be corrected. They are colors in the painting of your life, each one valuable, each one true. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the heart's forbidden territories. Feel everything. Yours truly, your storyteller. P.S. The stars are always real if you dare to look up.